Hello, everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. How is everyone doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nice little recovery day. Let's see, just across the board. Let's do a quick overview. S&P so far up 1.23%. NASDAQ 0.77%. Dow Mini 1.96. Again, Dow Mini has been leading the recovery. Actually, Russell up 2.19%. You can still see the numbers changing. Hello, Christoph. For some reason, I want to say Christopher, but it's Christoph. I don't want to mispronounce anybody's name. And if I do, I am terribly sorry. As I've said many times, I am terrible pronouncing stuff, just like I call Palantir Planther. I just don't, my brain doesn't work that way. It works in technical analysis terms, it does not work in name terms. So, if, forgive me, just be grateful I'm good at technical analysis and forgive me if I mispronounce people's names or even stocks or anything else. By the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and hitting the like button. You can always hit the dislike button. It's such a bummer, though. I don't get to see how many people dislike my stuff anymore, which really is aggravating because I sort of liked when people dislike it. Thanks again, Christoph. I'm glad it was great preparation. I am doing my best to try to help everybody, yeah, including myself, prepare for each day of trading, walking through how we do some technical analysis and getting our mindset correct so we're not going into each day uh, blind. It's not that we have to be perfect with our analysis. Trading is not a game of perfection. Remember that. Trading is not a game of perfection. You're never going to be perfect. And it's not about buying every low and selling every high. You're looking for high probability patterns and you're looking to take a chunk out of the middle. Okay? You're not looking to, in baseball terms, you're not looking to hit a home run every time you step up to the plate. In football terms, you're not looking for a touchdown on every play. There's sometimes you need a 1 yard run. Uh, you're not looking for a half court shot in basketball every time you touch the ball. You're looking for consistency and your high probability shots. Those are a bunch of sports analogies. You know, and I used to watch a lot more sports when I was younger. Now I spend Sunday afternoons doing technical analysis instead of watching football. Thank you. I'm glad I got that right. Again, if I ever mess it up in the future, I am sorry. Boy, all right. We got that nice little bounce. Let me switch cameras. There we go. It's nice to have two cameras, so when I switch, because I got multiple monitors going on here, in an emergency, I can trade on a laptop with just a small screen and flip around really quick, but I like to have my stuff spread out so I can glance, especially during the trading day, I can glance at multiple things. I can keep tabs on multiple things. I can have multiple execution platforms open, my charts open. So it's handy to have multiple monitors. Not required, it just makes the trading day much more enjoyable. Nice little rally. I talked about, it looked like we put in a bottoming pattern, especially when we came down to some of these key levels on Friday. And we got the nice little rally today. We had a nice little, what I call a flush out move this morning. You can see where was my line in the sand, about 45.22. And we never even came down to that. This was the little flush out move this morning when we came down. Let me show you on a shorter term chart. This was to get out the remaining, everybody jumps on, oh, we're going back down, and then just a quick dip down. 45.40, already had that line there on the chart. And you see how well that held back above 45.62, dipping below it, but really learn to react on closes above things. Don't get faked out. This is why. If I can teach you one thing, uh, if I can teach you one thing is please, too many people don't wait for key closes, especially on longer term charts. You see here, even on the 15-minute, dump and back, dump and back, dump and back. And look at this level held perfectly because the close is the most important thing. All right? Just remember that. And you look at the longer term charts, you see here back down. Never. If you just looked at this chart, this is just a blip. But people get faked out, and this is why I'll even stops. Yeah, people are afraid to use stops. Oh, well, I'm waiting for a close. What happens? You can always have a disaster stop, but your disaster stop should be farther away. Okay, that's just if the market just nosedives. But way too many times, there's both buys and sells. By the time the close comes around on the longer term chart, the level that was violated, it held. So I really implore you. That's one thing I would love more people to see. Hello, Wavy. What desktop screens am I using? Boy, I have some HPs, some Samsungs. I have a mix of screens. What else do I have? I literally, I'm looking at it. I don't have just one kind of monitor because when stuff gets older, I move it to my older backup trading setups and I just upgrade. So I have all, you know, high resolution, not running like 5K screens or anything, but I have Dells, I have Samsungs, I have HPs. They're all really good quality, and I just find them when they're at a good price. I'm glancing at five right now, five screens. I used to have six, but I didn't really need it. And got tired of having them stacked, and I was looking like this all the time. So now I have them all spread out around me. It's like a virtual trading thing. But you don't need. I can do it just with two. Two, three is a nice sweet spot. I can easily get on with three. Two, I can make work. One in a pinch. One, if I'm traveling with a laptop, fine. I prefer two. And three is my sweet spot. Fives were just, you can really lay out stuff. Uh, Yeah, you could do a 49-inch, a big 49-inch screen. The only reason which would be really nice and big, just depends on the resolution with that. The reason I also like to have multiple is instead of just one is because if something happens to one, I've had a monitor go out at the worst possible time. But if I have multiples, I can still keep going. I just temporarily rearrange my desktop, and I can even swap out a monitor. I have other monitors sitting here that, okay, one went dead or is acting weird. All right, we're at a slow period. Let me just unhook it real quick, hook up another one, and I'm off to the races. Where if I have one, I'm it's a little more challenging unless I have a backup for that one and it's still then swapping it out. That's another point. Make sure for key components you do have backups. If you're really like I run multiple internet connections, I have a primary and a secondary because again I have a whole home generator. If I have power, my power switches over in 10 seconds. And meanwhile, 10 seconds, I have everything on UPS supplies. So even if my main power goes out and I'm waiting for the generator to kick over, nothing kicks off. And by the way, if you have UPSs, too many people forget to hook up their network equipment to the UPSs. All right. And so therefore then they're like cable modem or their DSL modem or whatever they're running it goes down. It resets even and then it takes a couple minutes to boot up. Meanwhile, they're out of internet. So just make sure and also load test your UPS for the amount of time you're expected to be out. Too many people hook way too many things into a UPS and UPS is uninterruptible power supply. Sorry to go off on a rant, but then it only lasts them like for 30 seconds or a minute and they can't do everything they need to do. They can't get out of all their positions, even if they're going to lose power. They can't close everything down before the UPS can't sustain it. So make sure you load test your UPS and do it periodically because batteries do degrade. Sorry to go on that side, a little rant. Uh, so, what are the screens for primarily? Well, trading, the screens are, I have multiple chart windows up, option windows up, execution platforms up. Then I have my news feeds. And then if I have to look up something, I've dedicated space for browsers. Like if all right, I want to look up something on a company or something comes across, like there's that SEC stuff with Tesla today with the solar, and I'm doing research. Well, stuff's going off, so I don't want to be opening and closing stuff up and down. But primarily, it's so I can watch multiple charts. I can watch time frames. I can keep my option montages up, and I have multiple execution platforms. So so that's why. Now, if people are new here, let me just go over, and people watching this, you don't have to be on the live stream, but you don't need, okay. You know, what I'd recommend, don't get carried away. You don't need to go nuts when you're first starting. You don't need, like, again, 5 screens. You know, if you can do it with one, but I'd suggest, spread some stuff out so you're not constantly flipping around. You could be looking at multiple time frames and multiple charts, especially if you're trading multiple things. So 2 monitors are handy, but any computer, a laptop can run a second monitor. A desktop can run a second monitor. So you don't go crazy, but then invest in something like a good UPS system. And if you're really active, I'd recommend, other than a cell phone, because that can be a hotspot. But I'd recommend, too many places have good 5G home modems. So like I have a T-Mobile 5G home modem that can run everything in my house too. So my primary goes out. I have a secondary that's 5G, and a Verizon could do the same thing. But therefore, I am on completely something, and why I don't have like a DSL and cable, because both of those enter my neighborhood and my house along the same path, and I've had them both be cut before. And then therefore, if you have the same kind of weather, because they're both running overground and underground, and I've actually had both a cable and a DSL line cut simultaneously, and you think you have a backup and you don't, so it leaves you scrambling. That's why I have my backup, which can also be a primary, be a 5G, essentially home internet. It's not even a hotspot, it's on full time, it's running, it's even got its own battery backup. Just some little trading tips once you really get active, because the last thing you want to do is be blindsided. Trading's stressful enough during the day, and the last thing you want to do, oh no, this is out, oh no, that's out, and you're scrambling, especially on, like we've had for the last week, we've had some major volatility, and the last thing you want is like trying to troubleshoot trading equipment issues or internet issues or other things during the trading day. Like today, sell off at Tesla, decent day. If you were gone for 10 minutes, it could have disrupted your whole trading day potentially. All right. So the only other levels I went through with the S&P, I added, so we have this little pausing bar. You see this little pausing range. So after the little dump this morning that flushed a lot of people out, and I put that in the Discord server about that being a dump move. Coming up here, I put up from the lows last Friday, December 3rd, to this pausing bar. So I went with the little longer swing. You could have said this is the most recent swing. I went with the longer swing. So you could do both of these. This would be the most recent on the up move. This would be the longer swing, because this is the lowest low we've had on this move. So if you went with the most recent swing too, then you would have done this one. Okay, so then you would have had a cluster right here. You see pausing at that cluster, then going through. Just wanted to clarify that, because those are the 2 major swings you should be using. Well, the longer term one and the most recent one. But that gave me this 4,600, which we already knew about, nice round number. And then we had this 4612 area running up there. What do we get to? 4611.25, close enough, or 4611.75. And again, either side of these lines I'm not worried about. It's an area I'm watching for a potential reversal. You can see here waning momentum. What happened to my art? There it is. Waning momentum, essentially a double top on the RSI with a higher high, and then pulling back to the 1 hour rotation zone. So let's see. Let's see what we're doing for tomorrow. First, bullish line in the sand. No, I hate when you move that. Just give me my line. There we go. Bullish line in the sand tomorrow is roughly right about here. Okay, let's take a look at that on the 4 hour chart, which is real. I might pull it back a bit. Yeah, it's coming back a bit, a little bit. Yeah, I'm being a little more conservative on the 4 hour chart. That's nice. All right, that's really nice. That's really nice. So I'm watching above 45.87 area to stay in bullish mode tomorrow. Above 46.11. Let's get out to the bigger picture. 46.11. There's some decent resistance right over here. So again, it's still aggressively moving up stops, even to about 46.21. We have the 50% retracement from this down move, which is key. That's 46.16. Then I still have 46.21 or 46.22 significant level, and we have a 25% harmonic from this run up. So we have a major cluster right here, and we have this resistance shelf. So anything bullish, again, I'm still aggressively moving up stops. Then above that, 46, 26, 75, the major cluster we already had a prior level here, and 46.41. Right around here is the next level, 46, 41, 75, and then above that, 46, 47. These levels are close, but the 62 and a half, and especially if you're on the Discord, you know how important that 62 and a half level is to me. Unless we can get a key close above that, we could still roll over. One thing we've already come back to look at the daily rotation zone. Hitting it is selling off. So really, this is very key for tomorrow. Today's high is very key, and really today's high through this 46.21 area, I'm still looking at major resistance. So keep that in mind. And there's still, with all this back and forth from last week up here, it's not really in the all clear until it's above 46.67. All right. So we could even spike up tomorrow and still close below the 62 and a half and roll over again. Still technically in bearish mode on the daily. The 4 hour looks to be, it's right now still technically neutral by overnight trading. Unless we have a sharp down move, it's going to shift to short-term bullish. Weekly is still in bullish mode. You see so far we're rotating up, but it's still new in the week, this being a Monday. So I am still cautious on this recovery, but it looks like we may have put in at least a short-term bottom. I will start getting much more aggressive to the bullish side above the 62.5% level on a closing basis. And when I say closing basis, I want a daily close above there. And then once we start getting above 46.67, then I'm watching to see how we react upwards of this 4,700 where we had a lot of topping pressure before. That's my longer term game plan. How is that blown out of the water? Let's take a look. Again, first level support I'm watching is this 48.57. If we get below that, I'm going to fine tune this level a bit. About 45.56. 45.56 would be a pullback level now. And let me just see. I hate to clutter up the charts this much for live stream. I'm just taking an idea. If you want an idea where I will start getting really bearish again, I will update this as we make new highs. But if we get a key close, you could just roughly go off this 45.33 level. But right now, my exact level would be about 45.38. That's the 62% retracement from this. If that can't hold that level, it's tomorrow, even if we don't make new highs and we've rolled back down, then I'd be watching for a retest of the lows. So you can trail this. As we make new highs, you're going to move this up. Watch this 62.5% level. That's going to be very key. If you get a close below it, and not a 5-minute close, but you start getting especially an hour close below that, up move is most likely over. That would not be good, but until that happens, pullbacks, watching for buying opportunities on pullbacks. And on these harmonics upward, if you are bullish, these are great areas to raise a stop, because I would not give it a lot of leeway to the upside. We're still not completely clear of additional selling coming in. Let's see what else. So that's my thoughts on the S&P. NASDAQ. All right, NASDAQ, let's start with bigger picture again. Remember, we have the head and shoulders. We've come down to the first target area. We retested that first target area in the key 50% retracement of this up move. That's this darker line. The lighter area right here was the first target for the head and shoulders. Now, interesting today, we have this double bottom that's confirmed and triggered both on the 1 and the 4 hour time frame. Slightly lower probability since it was against a 4 hour time frame rotation zone, and you actually see here how it came up and tapped it. What I'm watching for is a slight pullback and then to see if we can get that strong rotation up. This would be a great area if you are bullish to watch, especially with the 1 hour. Now, the areas I watch for, let me move this line down. See here, we have the, this was the top of the sorry, double bottom. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. And these are the candle bodies I generally watch. If your reward to risk is off and we pull back to these areas, it's still fine. I normally watch between these 2 points for any pullbacks and rotations up, especially with the 1 hour rotation zone. So that's key. If it starts breaking down below about this 15,729, that puts me in cautious mode. Tomorrow, let me see here. Let me move this line back up. My bullish area is still remaining essentially above, oops, essentially above here. All right, that's my, as long as we're remaining about 15,766, 15,766 in the NASDAQ, that is keeping me in bullish mode. Now, what I was going to talk about earlier, before I sort of got sidetracked myself, NASDAQ's actually the weakest of all three. We could still come up, hit these double targets, which would just take us to the first cross of the daily rotation zone, which is now in bearish mode, and kiss the neckline goodbye again, and then still roll over, which is one of my cautionary things why I'm aggressively moving up stops in everything still until we're in out of the clear mode. And we're not in out of the clear mode yet. So you can have a bullish pattern, a shorter term bullish pattern within a bigger term bearish pattern. That's just part of trading. That's trading the waves back and forth. So just because we have a shorter term bullish pattern, again, it could easily come up here, fulfill all those, and then we could roll back over longer term. Those targets, see upside again. I'm going with 15,934. I'm using my conservative targets on this because we're still against that bigger trend with the cross of the daily rotation zone being down and in bearish mode. And the two is high probability tops are targets are 15,934, then 15,996 area. And then we have 16,058. Why is that a little less likely? Because it's in these wicks, and the ones in the wicks have a slightly lower probability when that happens. So I'm just checking on my different time frames at those levels. So again, above this, that's really key. This last target, then also it's just beyond the daily rotation zone. So that's why I'm really focused on these first two targets on a run up. If you get above this 16,000, what was that? 16,058 level, my next target area is this 16,170 area right up there. To the downside, again, 15,766 is a key bullish line. If we start dropping below that, just double check these levels on the 1 hour with this volatility. I just want to really dial in these levels. 15,687, that was really nice resistance shifting to a support base. So 15,687, below that, then I'm back down to this 50% level at 15,564. And below that, if we went back, broke through that, that would be very bearish, and that would get me into full-blown, at least in the NASDAQ, full-blown bearish mode. Let me see what my targets now are. Right there. So this is the most recent swing. This is the longer swing. Longer swing, most recent swing, same anchor point. So that gives me 15,465. Then we have a cluster at 15,386. And that's roughly 15,404. So we have major target here between these harmonics and the next target on the head and shoulders top. That would be the next key level down below. Hope that makes sense to everybody. Now the Dow, strongest of them all, closing just beyond the daily rotation zone. So this has technically gone back to neutral, gone through the trend line very strongly, this prior trend line. So the Dow holding up the best, which is definitely a rotation into safer large cap stocks in a way with we see the weakness in the NASDAQ. Again, growth and momentum are getting hit on this sell-off, and I'm seeing a lot more rotation into it's not just Dow stocks, but a lot more sort of slower growth, more value-based stocks. Dow's back to neutral mode. Let's just see, and we're back into bullish mode based off the weekly. I'll show you the only updates I did today with these levels. Again, Dow getting in bullish mode above 34,732. Little dip below that at the, right after European Open, and then bouncing above and then holding above there. We had this 34,903, 35,000 essentially, blowing through those levels, coming back to retest this level. The only other update I did was use this pausing area right here. You see this one right here from this key low right here, 34,248 up to this pausing area, which then gave me 35,350. And we got up to 35,344, pulling back. Right now, I'm going to bump these up again. Because when you see area like this in a little sideways thing, that's definitely where it's close enough to a harmonic. It's time to raise a stop below at least a key level. My key level was this 35,177, which was on the chart before. So tomorrow, 4-hour back to bullish mode. You have this little resistance shelf becoming support. I'm looking for this to hold, 35,177. If that does not hold, then we can also put the longer term swing on here also. But see, I don't have a great pausing area here. 35,177. If that does not hold, my next area I'll be watching is right around here. You see this little support shelf that was broken and retested with this key high. Now this is where you can use the highs and everything for confirmation. You spike up just missing, spike through just going through. So this level was tested a couple times and held. And now I'm looking for it. It was blown through earlier today, but I'm looking for it on a pullback to be support with the rising 4-hour rotation zone. So that would be a 34,962. Bullish line in the sand, let me get to that, is going to be up right. I'm actually going to put it right around here. 35,174, 35,177, that area. That's my bullish line in the sand. To the upside, above this high, we're into this clear path move with this close, this clear path move. So we have this 35,521 to 35,548 is my first target on a move higher tomorrow. And then I'll be watching 35,618, 35,698, and then 35,771. Above there, that's pretty key. Really, for me to get all clear, the 62.5% area is about 35,500. So I'll be watching for a daily close above 35,500, and then I'll start getting really bullish above this 75% harmonic, which is also this prior support becoming resistance. You get through there, and then I'm watching for the Dow to return to new highs for the end of the year. So that's about it. That was the Dow. What else do we have, everyone? What else do we have? I think Bitcoin at double top working its way down. What did I know? Bitcoin's follows the stock market. It dumps so well. Bitcoin, yeah. We had that little. We had the little dump and recovery, and it hit all the double top targets. All the double top targets are done in Bitcoin. And this is also, see, don't react to, now crypto's notorious with these flushes. This like liquidated over 400,000 accounts. And don't get me started, Tether is a complete fraud and scam. And that's eventually going to do major damage to the crypto market. That's why crypto is only a short-term trading vehicle, right, for until some of these stable coins get wiped out and we start getting some proper uh, they're not properly backed. So that's another thing, but that's another topic for another day. Don't get me started on that rant, but there, your targets are done. Now I'm watching to see what happens up around this 25% retracement area. That's the harmonic from a major run up and the declining daily rotation zone. So I'm watching what happens up around this area for another potential rollover move in Bitcoin. What else do we have? Let's see. Let's just check in on a couple. Like Nvidia finally. Nvidia finally into the weekly rotation zone and so far rotating back up. Still on any NASDAQ further weakness, I will watch for weakness in Nvidia. It's now back to neutral on the daily, and we finally have a first cross of the rotation zone. So in order for me to start getting more aggressively bullish, I need it back above about this 318 area. On Nvidia, I'm just going to look at a couple other of the major things. Apple, still 167.98. Look at that harmonic. What was it today? 167.88. So Apple's still looking pretty toppy in this. Some of these NASDAQ names are still looking toppy and can easily roll over and come down. So keep an eye on that, which is also why the NASDAQ's still not behaving well. So we could actually still have the NASDAQ underperform and the Dow outperform the NASDAQ and the S&P sort of go along in the middle, but because the NASDAQ, so many of these overvalued growth stocks that have just been on these massive tears. Sure, Christoph, I can have a look at crude. Again, remember to get your questions because this operates on a delay with when I see the questions. So remember to get your questions in, with plenty of time. Crude, again, we had that little spike down below our harmonic right there last week. And now that was a pretty much nice little spike low. Crude, let's see. Ooh. That is right at this key level. It almost triggered an aggressive buy on a continued rally. I'm really watching to see for it to return this 50% area. I'm watching for, we have the rotation zone and this 50% on the sell-off, especially with the market recovery now. And the crude was actually stronger when the markets were taking that little brief flush out move. One of the things I was watching is crude was not reacting. It's sitting at a critical juncture though. It's sitting right here at the 200, significant level, which you see this gap open, run up, key close there, run away from that level, and now it's returned. So this is a sort of a little short-term line in the sand above this level. If this level holds, then I am watching for the run up to the other side of the rotation zone. On a second, you want me to do CL? Is that the one you want? I mean, it's roughly, yeah, it has a little better close right there. But it's roughly the same, so I am still, it doesn't really change what I'm watching for. Again, 50% level, whether you use the second continuation or the first, the front month or the second month. I still watch the 50% level right there. That's going to be very key. So on any continued bullish area, that's my next target for crude to the upside. Rivian, nice little, very aggressive buy today. This was on this key close, it was an aggressive daily buy pattern. This has a short-term aggressive daily buy, and I'm going to put those rules into when I release the course. Maybe I'll release them early for a fee, and then they'll also be with the course. Next area also, let's do this. We got that close a while ago on the 62.5, and we continued lower, but now we finally got an aggressive buy pattern here. Let me clean up this chart. Gotta take a look with that aggressive buy pattern, what we're looking at. Next raise stop target area on that would be about this 120 area, this little resistance shelf and the 25% harmonic from this sell-off. Above there, let's see. Look, we already had some significance there. We have the 37.5% harmonic, and we have the 12.5% projection harmonic. Next here, I look to take something off and raise stops would be about 130.09. Potential double bottom? No, this is not a potential double bottom. There's no potential double bottom here. This does not work for that, and you cannot do anything with these two bottoms because you don't have enough reversal price action. So this just triggered an aggressive buy signal on a daily, sitting at the other side of the 4-hour rotation zone. What you don't want to see is a close back below this 110 area. Okay, so if you're doing anything aggressive to the bullish side here, you don't want to see a drop below about 110 again. That would be a key stop level for that kind of aggressive trade. What am I on gold? Gold is an interesting beast because you have the physical. I mean, we're running into physical shortages in gold and silver, but again, remember, the futures market on gold is cash settled, which I think is a load of crap for both gold and silver, because if it was bullion settled, it would be quite differently. This is why still gold is a trading market to me, where I watch for the bullish short-term patterns. In order for me to get bullish now on the short term again, I need a move above about 1812. That sort of sounds like, what happened in 1812? Maybe there's some correlation there. We also have a significant level. Let me move this down. We have a significant level right around here, about 1765. Close below 1765, I start watching for a bigger pullback. I'm a gold bull and silver bull longer term, but within that, I talk about trading around a core position. You got to trade this gold still, because on run-ups, it's aggressively moving in up stops. We had this little topping pattern right here. Then you get the big dump. So that's why you want to lock something in, and I look to reload at key levels, lower or reversal patterns. Don't have a great reversal pattern yet. That's why I need a bullish move. Next level, if we break below the 1765, then the next key level is 1728. If you want, you can use intermediate harmonics. I'd be doing, you do either a forward or reverse. This would be a great area. Look at that reverse. Look at that reverse harmonic. So you can watch for intermediate about 1746, but now 1730 with that area of significance. So if we drop down there, I will definitely be looking for some kind of bullish reversal. If we don't drop down there, then in order for me to get at least short-term bullish for another potential run-up on gold, I'd have to get some strength above 1812. What else do we have? What's your expectation on gold? Hold on, there are two separate things. I was expecting a pump, but it's killing me with the 1780 sell-off every time it gets that or over 1800. There is, you can mark off your significant levels here too. That'll be a great thing when I'll teach everyone how to do that really well. We have a section of that in the course. 1838. So here's your key levels to watch for. Again, bullish mode starts getting above 1811, then it's definitely raise stops 1838. You have some major significance around there. Above there, you're watching. You might as well put these levels on your gold chart because they will hold up. Then you have 1877. To the downside, key off 1730. Breaking below 1730 is not good. Breaking below 1730. See, overall, the key line in the sand is down around the 1695 area on a closing basis. But other than that, you're just in this huge consolidation pattern. Look at your weekly, everything's gone flat. You're just within this, so you got to trade around this short term, which is, look for key support and bullish patterns off a key support, and then, raise your stops and then take some off at key resistance areas. Gold had a perfect sign it was going to pump, but then it dumps tapering news, which I think is just stupid. Look, gold does not trade naturally right now. Okay? And you can start looking in that with the way it's, I'm not going to go into it on this stream, but start doing some investigation into both gold and silver and the futures markets and some of their patterns on it and the way physical versus futures. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and I just don't like the way it's been done with cash settlement because there's a lot of games being played. Longer term, I am bullish on this, but it can sit in this range longer than we think. At some point, we will have I believe we will have a massive run again in gold. Nothing seems to trade normally naturally right now. Some things trade more naturally than others. Gold and silver, it is very unnatural to me. Doesn't mean the levels can't work. It's just very unnatural. And I'll leave it at that. Anything else? Anything else, everybody? Before we wrap it up, and I will, because I got to get ready. Tesla is, wow, have I been going that long? How long have I been going? Wow, I lost complete track of time. Yeah, I got Tesla in 10 minutes to do. Yeah, see you in 12 minutes. Boy, I should take a nap or something, shouldn't I, Sterling? Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Wavy. Wavy, lots of manipulation in the markets. It's in some markets more than others. Thanks, Christoph. Again, thank you, everyone, for being here. I'll see some of you on the Tesla live stream. Again, thanks for joining, as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.